Okay. Good evening, friends. In the last class, we discussed prenatal stage. In the last class, we started growth and development chapter. In the growth and development chapter, we discussed different stages in the life of a human being. In those stages, we discussed the prenatal stage briefly. After that, another important stage is adolescence age or adolescence stage. In females, it is from 10 to 18 years of age. In males, it is 12 to 20 years of age. I told you in the previous class what is the reason. The females mature rapidly, and that's why there is a difference in the onset of adolescence. If they want to ask any question on this topic, they ask enumerate different stages in the life of a human being, discuss any one stage, growth and development in any one stage. Whenever they specify like that, even though there are many stages, it is better to write adolescent stage. Why? Because significant changes will be there here in this stage. At the time of adolescence, in both males and females, first of all, there will be spurt in growth. Growth spurt, it is called. Spurt in growth takes place. Growth spurt. Growth spurt. Spurt means sudden increase. Whenever we reach adolescence age, because of release of sex hormones, there will be sudden increase in height and sudden increase in weight. There will be elongation of bones, and at the same time there will be accumulation of either fat or muscle proteins. Muscle mass may be increased in males. In females, fat deposition will be there more. That's why there will be increase in height as well as increase in weight. This is called growth spurt. మనం చాలా మందిని చూస్తూ ఉంటాం. 10th క్లాస్ వరకు లేకపోతే 8th క్లాస్ వరకు మామూలుగా ఉంటారు. అక్కడ నుంచి టక ఫాస్ట్గా పెరిగేస్తారు. Why? Because in the beginning of, at the time of adolescence, there will be increase in the growth velocity, the rate at which our body grows. That's why we can come across a sudden increase in height, sudden increase in weight. And this is called growth spurt. After that, there will be development of secondary sexual characters. Secondary sexual characters. Secondary sexual characters means, I told you previously also, these are the characters which are developed at the time of adolescence in order to attract the opposite sex. Here in the secondary sexual characters, in the males, one set of characters develop. In females, another set of characters will be developed. In males, will come from top to bottom, so that you can easily remember. The lower border of the hair here you can come across. This is called hairline. The lower border of the hair on the head is called hairline. In case of males, because of sex hormone influence, there will be a recession. That means retrogression. That means going backwards. There will be recession in the hairline in the anterolateral direction. Anterior means front part. Lateral means side. Front side, that means here. In this region, if you observe carefully, here in case of males, one recession will be there like this. In males, the hairline recedes. Going back is called receding. There will be recession of hairline in the anterolateral direction. In females, such type of recession will not be there. That's why the first one is receding of hairline. Receding of hairline. Receding of hairline will be there. In females, there will not be any receding. No receding of hairline. I am discussing comparatively so that you can easily remember. After that, in case of males, there will be broadening of shoulders. సినిమాలో చూస్తుంటే హీరో అనగానే వీ షేప్ అంటారు, పైన ఏమో షోల్డర్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉండాలి, హిప్ ఏమో నేరోగా ఉండాలి. అదే అమ్మాయిలకి అయితే అట్లా కాదు. పెల్విస్, దిస్ హిప్ రీజియన్ మస్ట్ బి బ్రాడ్. That is broad because of sex hormone influence. That's why in case of males, there will be broadening of shoulders. Broadening of shoulders. In case of females, there will be broadening of hip. Broadening of hip. After that, in the males, there will be changes in the voice box. In the vocal cords, there will be some changes because of influence of sex hormones. That's why the frequency will be decreased. Loudness will be increased in the voice of the males. Hoarseness of voice. In the children, the voice is different. It's like that of female's voice. That voice is called high frequency voice. In males, after reaching adolescence age, there will be change in the voice. In females, such change will not be there. The same voice will be continued. That's why in males, a louder voice will be there. In females, high pitched voice will be there. High pitched voice. Or less louder voice. Or as you are in the beginning stage of learning anthropology, I am using simple terms. Actually, we have to use the term hoarseness of voice. In males, the voice becomes hoarse. That means louder. After that, if you come downwards, in case of females, there will be development of breast. In case of females, there will be development of breast. Breast enlargement will be there. In case of males, there is no such development. And in case of both males and females, there will be development of hair all over the body. In the chest region, over the face also, mustaches, beard, like this, there will be development of body hair over different body parts. But with respect to the development of body hair, we can come across variations. In females, there will be development of hair, but hair will be grown only in particular regions, in the armpits as well as around the genital organs. But in case of males, hair will be developed in the form of mustaches, in the form of beard, and in the form of hair over the chest, in the form of hair in the armpits, in the form of hair around the genital organs or sex organs. This way, there will be development of beard, then mustaches, and more body hair, more hair over the chest, and hair around the genital organs. Hair around the genital organs or sex organs is called pubic hair. In case of females, there will be only pubic hair. Pubic hair and hair in the armpits. Hair in the armpits is called axillary hair. Here in males also axillary hair will be there. In case of males, there will be development of more hair all over the body. Dense hair will be there. Here in case of males, on the hands, on the legs, everywhere we can come across development of hair. In females also we can come across, but very less distribution of hair. After that, attraction towards the opposite sex. Attraction towards the opposite sex. It will be same in both males and females. Definitely, whenever we reach adolescence age, then we develop attraction towards the opposite sex. But here, there will be attraction towards opposite sex. It will be there in both males and females. Attraction towards opposite sex. The same character can be seen here also. These are some of the important changes that we can come across at the time of adolescence in human beings. That means, but for your easy understanding, we discussed comparatively. This is about adolescence age. Now let us start the next chapter, that is demographic physical anthropology. Demographic physical anthropology. Demographic physical anthropology. 11th chapter. Demographic means related to population. Physical anthropology means studying the biological aspects of human evolution. Here, while discussing this demographic physical anthropology, we are going to discuss mainly reproduction. How the population size will be influenced. The population size will be influenced by the ability of a female to produce children. Ultimately, offspring will be produced by whom? Females. That's why the biological makeup of the female and what are the factors that influence the ability of the female to produce children. There are many concepts, but here we are going to discuss one important concept that is called fertility. Fertility. The ability of a female to deliver a live child is called fertility. The ability of a female to deliver a live child. The ability of a female to deliver a live child is called fertility. Here there is one more concept by name fecundity. Fecundity. Fecundity means it is the ability of a female to become pregnant. There is a difference here. A female can become pregnant. She need not to deliver a live baby. If a female becomes pregnant, it is not guaranteed that she is going to deliver a child. That's why ability to become pregnant is different and delivering a live child is different. If you consider ability is nothing but potential of a female to become pregnant. If there is sexual intercourse between a male and female after the attainment of sexual maturity, that means from the time of adolescence, every year a female can produce a child on an average. But are we producing like that? Generally, a female comes to sexual maturity at the age of 10 years. Her reproductive capacity ceases at the age of 45 years. That means a gap of 35 years. If that female participates in sexual intercourse, definitely sex desires will be there. Because of sex desires, there will be a sexual intercourse. Then that female can become pregnant. For becoming pregnant, there must be fusion of one sperm and one ovum. That's why a female can become pregnant. But if a female is becoming pregnant every year, if she produces one child, then in her lifespan she has to produce 35 children, provided there are no twins or triplets. But is it happening in reality? No. That means they have the potential of 35 or more. But what is the actual performance? What is the output? Only 2 or 3. In some cases 1 also. In the examination also, simply for your easy understanding, I can tell you that this is the maximum marks, this is the marks of type. That's it. In the examination, if you write answers to all the questions, then also you are not going to get 100 out of 100. There will be some reduction. Similarly, here also like that. Fecundity is nothing but the ability of a female to become pregnant. That means it indicates the potential of the female. But here it is the actual performance, the ability of a female to deliver a live child. Live child is very, very important. See, whenever there is delivery of a live baby, then that is called live birth. Live birth. But sometimes, because of complications at the time of delivery, the baby may die. Then that will not be considered as a successful delivery. Then that birth is called stillbirth. 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 For us, live birth is very, very important. ఒక ఫిమేల్ ప్రెగ్నెంట్ అయ్యి డెడ్ బేబీని డెలివరీ చేస్తే ఆమెను అమ్మ అంటారా, గొడ్డాలని అంటారు. అట్లా ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే ఎబిలిటీ ఆఫ్ ఏ ఫిమేల్ టు డెలివర్ ఎ లైవ్ చైల్డ్, దట్ ఈస్ వెరీ, వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. అండ్ దట్ కండిషన్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఫర్టిలిటీ. ది ఎబిలిటీ ఆఫ్ ఏ ఫిమేల్ టు డెలివర్ ఎ లైవ్ చైల్డ్. నౌ టెల్ మీ, కెన్ ఏ ఫిమేల్ బికమ్ ఏ ఫర్టైల్ ఫిమేల్? If there is fertility, then the concerned female is called fertile female. Can a female become fertile female if that female is not fecund? No. If fecundity is not there, fertility automatically becomes 0. Now, whatever it may be, but only for your understanding. But for us, this is important. Delivery of a live child, that is going to influence population size. That is going to influence population size. And population size is influenced by another indicator, that is nothing but death rate. Incoming and outgoing, both are important. Death rate, we can easily understand what are the reasons for death rate, everyone knows. But here, this is important for us. What are the factors that are influencing fertility? What is fertility? It is the ability of a female to deliver a live child. In reality, the potential is around 35, but in reality, that potential is not realized. What are the factors that are limiting the actual performance of the female? That's why that is simply said like this: the factors influencing fertility. What are the factors influencing fertility? Let us discuss the factors influencing fertility. First one is biological factors. Biological factors. Biological factors means in the reproductive system, if there are certain defects, then the ability of a female to deliver live children will be affected. After that, economic factors. Economic factors. These are very, very important. Here, economic factors influence the fertility of a female in different dimensions from different points of view. First of all, their socio-economic status. Generally, in higher socio-economic category, the cost of rearing children is more when compared with the benefits received. We have to provide good education, good healthcare facilities to the children, then good clothing and other amenities we have to provide. Nowadays, you can come across for LKG, UKG also 1 lakh rupees. For day scholars, only 1 lakh rupees fees. Hospital bills, you know very well, in lakhs only. That means the cost of rearing children is high. Benefits are not guaranteed. Nowadays, because of the education provided by us, they are getting a good employment opportunities and they are going to different areas. That means we can come across a dissociation of the children from the family. And after the marriage, they are marrying females who are having almost same qualifications. Even in case of not having similar qualifications also, if the husband is getting a job in one city, automatically that female also moves out. That's why there is a division of the joint family into nuclear family. When children are not with us, then how can we expect benefits because of children? And at the same time, if they go to abroad, then definitely there are no benefits. But parents are not stopping rearing the children by assuming that they are not going to be useful. It's not so. That's why in higher socio-economic category, there are less benefits but more cost. This is called cost to benefit ratio or cost to benefit ratio. When compared with the benefits, the cost is more in higher socio-economic category. In lower socio-economic category, the cost to benefit ratio is high. Is low. Cost is less, benefits are more. Why? They send their children to government schools only. They take their children to government hospitals only. They don't bother about clothing of their children also, like that of higher socio-economic category. That's why expenditure is less. Apart from that, they send their children from the childhood onwards to the work. That's why more earning hands will be there. That's why expenditure is less, but income is more. That's why cost is less, but benefit is more. When the benefits are more, then what happens? They produce more children. Here benefits are less, cost is more, that's why they produce less children. That's why in higher socio-economic category, we can come across low fertility in females. In lower socio-economic category, high fertility. Why? Because there are more benefits in lower socio-economic category. That's why they produce more number of children. More number of children means more fertility. That is one factor. Second one is affordability is also very, very important. Affordability. affordability. Here, in higher socioeconomic category, the cost is more when compared with the benefits. For middle socioeconomic, these are the different perceptions. Different experts proposed different explanations for increase in fertility or variations in fertility. If you go to certain higher socioeconomic categories, families, they produce more number of children even though the benefits are less. Why? Because affordability is there. Generally, in middle class families you can come across, they produce only 2 children because they feel that it will be difficult to rear 2 children or to cater to their requirements. ఇద్దరికన్నా ఎక్కువ పిల్లల్ని కన్నామంటే వాళ్ళని పెంచి పెద్ద చేయాలంటే చాలా కష్టము అని చెప్పి వాళ్ళు ఇద్దరితో ఆపుతారు. అదే వాళ్ళకు 100 కోట్లు 200 కోట్లు నెల నెల వస్తున్నాయి అనుకో, వాళ్ళు పట్టించుకుంటారు, ఇవన్నీ పట్టించుకోరు. దట్స్ వై sometimes belongingness to a particular higher socioeconomic category influences affordability. Based on the affordability, they produce children. That is also one way. This is not, even though this is general, it is not applicable to all the families. There will be some exceptions. And by compromising both these two, another person, their names are not so important for you at this point of time. Another person, he advocated one more explanation. He said that it is not about the total affordability, it is not about the cost benefit ratio, relatively. Say for example, a poor person getting 20,000 salaries but having a family expenses of 15,000 rupees is a rich person. Why? Because family expenses 15,000, savings of 5,000 rupees are there. But consider one software engineer getting salary of 1 lakh but the expenses of 1,20,000. That means every month 20,000 debt. Then relatively, who are having surplus money in their hands? That poor person. Why they have that surplus even though they are getting less salary? Their aspirations are less. నాకు 3 bedroom ఫ్లాట్ కావాలి, ఆ తర్వాత ఆర్ఓ కావాలి, వాషింగ్ మిషన్ కావాలి, ఆర్ఓ వాటర్ ప్లాంట్ కావాలి, వాషింగ్ మిషన్ కావాలి, తర్వాత ఫ్రిడ్జ్ కావాలి. ఇన్ని కోరికలు ఉండవు వాళ్ళకి, కోరికలు తక్కువ ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి ఎక్స్పెన్సెస్ తక్కువ. That's why the richness of a particular family will be decided not by the total quantity of money, but by the aspirations that their parents, that the concerned couple having. If the expenses to meet their aspirations are less, or if their aspirations are less, relatively their affordability will be increased. If the aspirations are more, affordability will be decreased. That's why it is the parental aspirations which is going to influence the affordability of a couple. That's why parental aspirations. Parental aspirations. Like this, the money is going to influence the fertility of a female depending upon different criteria. In some families, certain criteria will be followed. In some families, certain other criteria will be followed. And at the same time, unemployment and inflation combine. Unemployment and inflation combine. If both husband and wife are not having jobs and at the same time the prices are more in the market, if prices are more, then that is called inflation. Prices are high but they are not having jobs. That's why no income. In such circumstances, how is it possible for them to produce children? If they produce children, they have to face number of hardships. That's why both husband and wife sit together and they will come to one conclusion. Okay, let us postpone the production of the children for some days. Why? Because both of us don't have jobs and at the same time prices are also very, very high. That's why this unemployment inflation combine also influences the fertility of a female. One is cost to benefit ratio, second one is affordability, third one is parental aspirations, fourth one is unemployment inflation combined. Like this, economic factors influence the fertility of a female. After that, social factors. Age of marriage, education, availability of family planning practices, Availability. Availability of family planning practices. See, females can become pregnant in between 10 to 45 years of age. That is called active reproductive life. After menopause, menopause means permanent stopping of menstruation. After menopause, the reproductive potential of female becomes zero. That's why after that, even if they participate in sexual reproduction or sexual intercourse, they are not going to become pregnant. Now, in this period, generally they come to sexual maturity at the age of 10 years and that will be stopped at the age of 45 years. That means what is the length of the active reproductive life period? 35 years. Now, by citing preparation for civil services or by citing settlement or career progression, if they have marriage at the age of 30 years or 32 years, then their reproductive span, their active reproductive lifespan will be only 15 years or 13 years. If they are married at the age of 30 years, then 30 to 45, only 50 years. But if you go to Bihar, Jharkhand, or if you go to rural areas within Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, they are married at the age of 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, like that. Even though the government is implementing number of programs, government is implementing a number of awareness generation programs of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and number of schemes. In spite of that, we can come across child marriages. After marriage, definitely there will be sexual intercourse between husband and wife. It is inevitable. It is not possible to avoid. Then that means their active reproductive lifespan is around, if they are married at the age of 10 or 14 years of age, let us assume 10, then 35 years of active reproductive lifespan. If they are married at the age of 15 years, 30 years reproductive lifespan. Every year, if they keep on producing children, 30 children they can produce. But again, other factors play an important role. Awareness with regard to family planning practices, their education levels, they are very, very important. And at the same time, availability, awareness is important, availability of contraceptives, social stigma, all these are important. I will explain. First of all, they should have awareness. If they are not having awareness because of the awareness about the consequences of oversized family, then if they produce more number of children, then maintenance becomes difficult, then that family will be trapped in poverty, first thing. Second one is family planning, how to carry out family planning. Family planning means not directly having surgeries, controlling the family size, either by taking oral contraceptive pills or by using condoms or by surgical procedures. Awareness is also very, very important. Even if they have awareness, availability also very, very important. Now there is awareness because of YouTube or some other factors, they have awareness. But availability is also very, very important. In the rural areas, if you go to medical shops, you can get pills or condoms, whatever it may be. But in the rural areas, in every village, is it possible for us to have medical shops? No. Even in case of presence of medical shops, a social stigma, prohibition from inner side, ఎవరన్నా చూస్తారేమో, it will be difficult for us to go to medical shop and to ask condoms or pills. Of course, we don't have any restrictions, any prohibitions from within perspective. Why? Because we are married people, we are licensed people. What about other people? And in case of traditional families also such restrictions will be there. There will be a lot of phobia, lot of inner prohibition to go and ask the contraceptive pills or condoms in the medical shops. That's why in the absence of awareness or in the absence of availability of contraceptives or in the presence of social stigma, if the females are pushed into active reproductive life because of less age of marriage, then they keep on producing children. నలుగురు కావచ్చు, ఐదుగురు కావచ్చు, ఒకసారి ఆరుగురు కూడా కావచ్చు. That is one aspect. After that, religious factors, they are also very, very important. In the Hinduism, the funeral pyre must be lit by a sun. After our death, that funeral pyre must be lit by a sun. మనం చనిపోయిన తర్వాత మనకి తలకొరివి ఎవరు పెట్టాలి? కొడుకే పెట్టాలి. We feel that our soul reaches heaven only if our funeral pyre is lit by a sun. That's why they keep on producing children until they get a male child. Sometimes luck may not favor. And before getting one male child, they may get 3 or 4 girl children. According to in one of the economic surveys, I think it is in 2018 or 19, In the government economic survey, it was mentioned that in India, 2.8 million girl children are unwanted girl children. Unwanted girl children means for the sake of a son, they continue the production of the children, but they get female child. Like this, for the sake of preference is being given to male children. Why? Because they believe that the funeral pyre must be lit by a son. Similarly, in case of Islam also, they consider children as the gifts of the God. If they practice family planning, then that will be considered as denial of the gifts given by the Allah. Then that will be considered as sin against Allah. That's why they won't practice. In Orthodox Muslim families, they won't practice family planning. Why? Because children are the gifts of the Allah. If they practice family planning, that is nothing but denial of gifts given by the God. That's why it is a sin against Allah. That's why the religious factors influence. And at the same time, religious factors. Then social capillarity or rising socioeconomic status of women. Rising socioeconomic status of women. With increase in the social status of the women, in order to maintain that social status, they don't want to waste their time in unwanted and excessive pregnancies. Pregnancies are required. Why? Because our continuation is required. That's why we produce legal heirs. That's why we produce children. But if a female is there in MLA position, and if she is becoming pregnant continuously for about 3 times in her term of 5 years of MLA, then her accessibility to the public will be decreased. Next time people will not give preference to that female. Am I correct or not? Similarly, if a female is working as CEO or any other employee in a private company, if they want maternity leave for 1 or 2 children they give. If that female keeps on asking maternity leave for 10 years, then company will not tolerate. Am I correct or not? That's why the females, once their social status is elevated, in order to maintain that social status, they don't want to waste their time in unwanted and unnecessary pregnancies. And that means there must be one reasonable level, 1 or 2. Beyond that, they don't want to produce children. Like this, increased socioeconomic status of the women was responsible for the assertion of rights by the females over their body. If you go to rural areas, even today also we can come across the production of the children by a particular female will be decided by her husband or husband's parents. I have one friend, many friends are there. In one of my friends' family, they belong to Muslim religion. They produced 2 children. But unfortunately, we cannot say unfortunately, the first 2 children are girl children. But he was educated, that's why he decided to stop the production of the children. He decided to have family planning. But the parents, they belong to 1960s, 1950s. That's why their parents, his parents stressed on him, insisted on him to produce 1 more child for the sake of son. And even after becoming pregnant also, they approached me to tell the sex of the fetus in scanning. Of course, I denied it, whatever may be, but the people are like that. They want to have male child. That means the production of the children will be decided by whom? Her husband or his parents. Female is not having rights over her body. That's why there is a crime of repeated pregnancies committed on the body of a woman. That is there in lower socioeconomic category, even in the traditional families. But with rising socioeconomic status, we can come across assertion of rights by the females on their bodies with regard to production of the children. That is another advantage. And the rational approach also. Rational approach, joint family system. Rational approach means both husband and wife discuss together, and based on their conditions, they will decide whether to go for 1 more child or not. That is rational approach. Another one is joint family system. Consider me and my wife and my son are living in a home. That means we are one nuclear family. Both are working employees. Both are employees. Now who will take care of my son? We are facing number of difficulties. We are hiring maids. They will come. They will work for about 1 month. Suddenly they stop coming to work. then we have to apply for leave and we have to take care of the child until we get a new maid. That means my career will be sacrificed or my wife's career will be sacrificed. In such circumstances, if we want to produce another child, our problems are going to be increased. But if we have joint family, then what happens? There will be enough number of people in the family to take care of the children. Even the grandparents, they insist their grandchildren to produce children. తాతలు ఉంటారు, పెళ్ళిళ్ళు అయిపోగానే రే మాకు ఒక మనమని కనిపెట్టరా అంటారు, లేకపోతే అమ్మ నాన్నలే అంటుంటారు. By the time we enter into active reproductive life, our parents reach the retirement age. Then they need company. That's why they insist, produce children, produce children, produce children. We will take care of, don't worry. Because of joint family system, there will be increase in fertility. But in nuclear families, it's not so. Because of lack of time, because of the practical difficulties, they would like to limit the production of the children. That's why family system is going to influence. Family system is going to influence. Like this, number of social factors are going to influence the production of the children. That means the fertility of a female. Even the political systems also. Even the political factors. Political factors. Government may impose restrictions. Government may instruct the people to produce only 2 children and not to produce beyond 3, like that. You know, in panchayat elections, if you have more than 3 children, 3 or more than 3 children, we are not eligible to contest. If you have 3 children before 1994 or 1995, if you have more children, then we are not eligible to contest the elections also. And government decides. If you go to China, government strictly implements 1 child or no child norm. In India, 2 child norm. Previously 3 child norm, now it is reduced to 2 child norm. Like this, the government decides. And at the same time, government is going to provide different facilities. See, if the healthcare facilities are available, then there will be security to the lives of the children. That's why we would like to produce 2 children. But if there is no guarantee to the lives of the children because of lack of medical care facilities in a particular country, they produce more number of children. Why? Because if they produce more number of children, at least 1 child may survive. పిల్లలు బతుకుతున్నారు అనుకుంటే 2 చాలు అనుకుంటారు. అట్లా కాకుండా వచ్చి చిన్నప్పుడు 5 ఏళ్ళకో 6 ఏళ్ళకో చనిపోతా ఉన్నానుకో, కంటిన్యూస్గా ఒక 4-5 కంటే మధ్యలో 2 చనిపోయిన 2 మిగులుతారులే అంటారు. This will be there. Because of biological limitations, after 60 we need the support of our children. That's why in all the known societies, we can see that, we feel that children are the old age pension. Definitely, even now itself, we ask our children, "Re Nanna, will you take care of me if I become old?" ఖచ్చితంగా మిమ్మల్ని కూడా మీ పేరెంట్స్ అడుగుంటారు, నేను కూడా నా కొడుకుని అడుగుతానే ఉంటా. రే నాన్న ఇంకొన్ని రోజులు పోతే డాడీ ఓల్డ్ అయిపోతారా, డాడీకి హెల్ప్ చేస్తావారా, లేకపోతే డాడీని పట్టించుకోవారా అంటే, లేదు డాడీ ఇద్దరిని బాగా చూసుకుంటారా అని. These are the customs that we have developed. Why? Because of biological limitations, definitely we require the help of some people. That's why by considering children as old age pension, we'll take care of more, we'll produce more number of children. We'll consider all the probabilities. See, if you produce only 1 child, then there'll be a lot of social pressure. Why? Because people say that at least 2 children must be there. Why? Because if something happens to the one and only child, what about this family? This is the pressure that I have been facing now. I have only 1 child. All my relatives are pressurizing me. You have only 1 child. Why you stopped with 1 child? And we can easily understand their intentions. No one can say the negatives openly. No one can speak about a death in a family, probable death in a family directly. డైరెక్ట్గా మీ ఇంట్లో చనిపోతే ఏందన్న పదం ఎవడు వాడ్డు. అందుకని ఆ చెప్పలేక వాళ్ళు అంటారు, ఎప్పటికైనా ఇద్దరు ఉండాలయ్యా అంటారు. ఇంకా తప్ప వేరేది ఏదైనా మాట్లాడి నేను అంట. లైక్ దిస్, ఇన్ అవర్ సొసైటీ we consider children as old age pension. Here, the survival of the children, if it is guaranteed, we produce 2 children or 1 child. But if it is not guaranteed, definitely we'll produce 4 or 5 or 6. That is the reason for the production of more number of children in the lower socioeconomic, one of the reasons for the production of more number of children in the lower socioeconomic category. If there is one health problem, say for example dengue or corona, if it requires hospitalization in ICU, the expenses may be around 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs or sometimes. If you go into coma, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs also. Can a poor family afford? No. అందుకని దేవుడి మీద భారం వేసుకొని మేము ఇంటికి తీసుకెళ్ళిపోతానే మా బాబునని వచ్చేస్తుంటారు. That's why here, even though there is development of medical care facilities, the availability of these medical facilities to the poor people is still a nightmare even today also in our society. The medical facilities are developed very well, but they are accessible only to the rich people but not to the poor people. That's why there is no guarantee to the lives of their children. That's why they keep on producing 4 or 5 children. Just by having some educational background, we are trained in such a manner. We may feel that the poor people are producing for dozens of children or half dozen of children. They are highly irrational people. It is not so. They have their rationality from their perspective. But we feel that we judge them from our perspective. But that is not correct. We judge them from our perspective. That's why we feel that they are doing all nonsense. But it is not so. Even though there is development, the medical care facilities are not still accessible to the poor people. That's why they keep on producing the children, because there is no guarantee to the lives of their children. That's why the fertility in the lower socio-economic category is high. That is also one of the reasons. That is mainly because of political factors. If the government can give assurance to the lives of the children of the poor families, what is the need for them to produce more number of children? There is no need. Like this, there are many factors which are influencing fertility. Mortality, death rate is a condition. Death rate, mortality is nothing but death. What are the factors that influence mortality? First one is infections or epidemics. You know, nowadays the death rate because of infections is controlled, but in the olden days, if there is outbreak of cholera, villages were swept away. You know, in 1950s, nearly because of malaria, nearly 5-6 millions of people died every year. 5-6 millions means 50-60 lakhs. Imagine death of 200 people in train accident. That will be a big issue. Am I correct? And all the newspapers will be there. But the deaths because of malaria are unreported. They are not given importance in the newspapers. Even today also there is death rate. At the time of corona, what happened? Many people died. In lakhs people died. Because of infections, people are dying. And at the same time, because nowadays, this is more important. Lifestyle related diseases, diabetes, hypertension. Because of these, heart failure, kidney failure, all these are things. Non-communicable diseases, they are called non-communicable diseases. Apart from this, wars. Once upon a time, in India, before the advent of the Britishers, number of small kingdoms were there. They were always involved in wars. Lakhs of people died because of wars. Then malnutrition and lack of proper sanitation facilities. Lack of proper sanitation facilities. Sanitation facilities means going to latrine and having proper drainage facilities, all those things. In the situation of inadequate drainage facilities and lack of latrine facilities, people go for open defecation. Then because of open defecation, disease will be spread. Because of lack of drainage facilities, that domestic sewage or industrial sewage accumulates at one particular place, then there will be growth of number of microorganisms, again people will die. Because of malnutrition also many people are dying. Apart from these things, another important cause, road traffic accidents. These are the important reasons for the death. But biologically only some factors, other factors are there, but for us this is important. Why? Because we'll study from reproductive system point of view. Okay, I stop today, tomorrow will, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Tomorrow election counting is there, na? So that's why I take holiday. And